I'm Doug Lynch with Burris Customer Service, and been at Burris for about 5 years, and I'm living my passion, my hobby, and I get to hunt and shoot on Burris time. I'm supposed to be working today, but we're out here at the range. Out at the Burris range, we're going to tell you all about NRL22 and NRL22X, a new game that has just been recently introduced, but we'll give you all the details on that.
I'm Dorgan Trostel, Burris Pro Shooter. I'm excited to be out here. We have a whole line of varying obstacles to attack with different pro tips for each obstacle, how to approach it. So we're excited to be out here at the Burris range as well. We got targets set up from 30 yards, 50, all the way out to 300 yards. Know your limit rack at 100 yards. So it's going to be a fun and difficult day. The wind's light right now, but I imagine it'll pick up. So we'll see you on the range. In this video, we're going to go over why 22 rimfire shooting is such an awesome option to have for new shooters and super experienced shooters alike. So first off, for new shooters, you can do the rimfire at any 100-yard range. Most of the requirements for the rimfire matches the NRL22 stuff. They have course of fire set up for 100 yards and in the whole day of shooting. The second reason, and great reason, is cost. You don't need to be a proficient hand reloader or buy expensive match ammo. 22 rimfire ammo in general is super cheap. You can get a 50 rounds for a match ammo from $10 to $15, and that's really good match ammo. Or you can buy the cheaper stuff from $5 to $10, and that actually usually shoots really well in a lot of rifles. So after you get your ammo, the rifle's usually a lot cheaper and the scopes are a lot cheaper. So just getting into the sport is a lot cheaper, especially if you have kids. It gets kids involved. It's super laid back. It's usually super cheap to shoot. There's not a lot of high expectations going into a rimfire match. So it's really fun and a lot of excitement to get to go out and shoot. So then we can go into other things. For the more experienced shooters like myself, or anybody that just wants another thing to do, or to be more proficient at their primary shooting sport of high power or PRS or NRL or any of that move around high caliber reloading guy, you need a cheaper option where you're not, torching off a dollar bill every shot or spending hours reloading match ammo. You just need to go out and practice. Trigger control, so much more important with rimfire. The lock time, the slower velocities, everything plays into having your bone basic shooting skills, follow through, trigger squeeze, sight picture, sight alignment, eye relief, just being squared up to the target. Everything that plays into getting a good shot off is amplified with rimfire shooting. You have to be much more deliberate, you have to be much more solid and follow throughs, everything, any movement at all seems to throw that bullet off just crazy. You're just jerking the trigger like, oh, that was me. You say that a lot more often in rimfire. So we got the cost, we got the shooting ranges, 100-yard ranges are everywhere. We've got training, super important to train. I can burn through 100, 150 rounds on my rimfire, not even heat up the barrel. That's really nice to be able to do. So after that, then you're shooting a rimfire bullet. It's a super round, small, 50 grain, 60 grain, 40 to 60 grain slug of lead, and it doesn't go through the air very good. So a little bit of wind is going to have a lot of effect on that bullet, especially at further ranges. When you get to 100 yards, that's sometimes people equate the 100-yard to a 1,000-yard range. So you're getting the wind practice. 1 mile-an-hour wind at 100 yards is going to move it off target easily. So you really have to pay attention to mirage. You can pay attention, stay behind your rifle, and if you have really good form on your trigger control and squeeze, and you can see the bullet, you can literally see the bullet flying through the air, which is really awesome to be able to see once you get to that level. So there's a lot of good options for wanting to do the rimfire, from price, availability, the range. Ammo is usually available everywhere. They're making millions of rounds a day, so even if there is a shortage, you're able to find it eventually at your local stores. And then there's the little matches are popping up everywhere. They're cheap and they're super fun to do.
The ease of shooting a 22 and being able to find ranges anywhere and shoot monthly matches, not have to travel a lot of distance, and you can get into some really serious competition. I mean, the 22 shooters are pretty serious. I mean, again, base class, you can get into it and you can have a whole lot of fun. But if you start moving up and you get hooked, like I've been hooked on this, you're going to go get just a little bit better equipment. You don't have to get very top of the line, but you can be very competitive. But you have to take and do the fundamentals, as Dorgan was mentioning, the trigger control, the breathing, the watching your shot, the follow through, matching up the ammo with your gun and getting a scope that works out well. All of those types of things still apply. They directly apply in the centerfire world, which I like shooting centerfire as well. But you need a lot of real estate in the centerfire world to be able to go to a match and to shoot something like that competitively. In the 22 world, The definition of NRL22 is 100 yards. Now, granted, the 100-yard is that definition on local matches. When you get into the nationals, I've been to a couple of different nationals. Talk about a lot of fun. It really is. You know, we go out to distances out to 350 yards. All of a sudden, you're talking about some very, very long ranges for 22, and you have to know your gun and your ammo, and it's got to be consistent. So you still have that technical piece of it that you have to work out and know that you do it and do it well. When you go to the line, when you go to that stage, you're confident in all of your equipment, yourself, every bit of your ability to do it and take that shot, and you make it happen. And it's just pretty amazing that you take the shot, you go eat a sandwich, and you come back, and by that time that bullet finally gets out there. I mean, it takes a long time for a bullet to get out to 350 yards. I think the time of flight is a little bit over 2 seconds. So it's a lot of fun. It's addicting. So that's what you need to know going into your first NRL22 match. And if you have any questions, be sure and drop them in the comments below, or visit NRL22.org. They've got all the matches listed there.